So I want to use this graphic organizer to insert some different numbers here. So here's the real number system. The real number system is broken up into two separate subcategories, two sets of numbers. Real numbers have irrational numbers in it, and they also have irrational numbers in it. If you're an irrational number, there's really no other subcategory you can be in. So the irrational numbers would be considered here. So the irrational numbers means that these numbers don't repeat the same sequence ever. It means that they don't terminate and they cannot be put in fraction form. So these are like your really weird numbers that we deal with, like the number pi. Pi is an irrational number. Later on in your math career, you'll learn about the number e. Also, when you take the square root of non-perfect squares, this would be an irrational number. So like the square root of 2. If you put that in your calculator, you would see that those numbers are crazy. They don't repeat the same pattern. They don't terminate. So these are irrational numbers. They're pretty hard to deal with. However, when we have the opposite of a rational number, rational numbers, these sometimes are a little bit easier to deal with because these numbers can be put in fraction form. These numbers do terminate. These numbers do repeat numbers if they have decimals. So if I go backwards actually and start in the very middle here, the natural numbers are in the center. So this is going to be the natural numbers. All right. So natural numbers are numbers that you can count on your fingers. So we start here with 1, 2, 3, 4, and this goes on forever to positive infinity. Those are your natural numbers. The next subcategory we have, the next set of numbers we have are whole numbers. Whole numbers are all of the natural numbers, but it includes one more number, and that number is 0. So it starts at 0 and then moves on to all of the positives and so on. Integers include all of these numbers as well. So integers would be this category. Integers includes all of these numbers, but it also includes all of the negative versions of these numbers. So integers can be like negative numbers, like -1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. And then we have an even bigger category, the rational numbers. Rational numbers are any numbers that are integers, whole numbers, natural numbers, but also all of the numbers that are already in fraction form, like 2/3. 2/3 is considered a rational number because it's a ratio. It's a fraction. 2/3 decimal, if you put it into your calculator and do 2 divided by 3, you get 0.6 repeating forever. Because it repeats, that means it can be put into a fraction, which makes it a rational number. Another example of a rational number would be like the square root of a perfect square. 16 is a perfect square since 4 squared is 16. The square root of 16 really equals 4. 4 can be put into a fraction, which makes it a rational number. Rational numbers can be positive, they can be negative. So we could have like negative fractions, we could have negative decimals, -1/3, -0.5. Anything that is positive or negative that can be put into a fraction is considered a rational number. And then within rational numbers, we have all sorts of other numbers like integers, whole numbers, and natural numbers. What we're going to do next is we're going to be classifying these types of numbers, and we're going to see if they're natural, rational, integers, or irrational.